So I thought I was feeling rain hit the fly, but no, that's frozen precipitation. And there's Stella. Hi, Stella. We got a Stella cameo. You're a good dog. You're a good dog. Yes, you're a good dog. All right. Yeah, still snowing a little bit, and I was warm. I know I keep saying it. If you set it up right, you will stay warm in a hammock with an underquilt. So I'm going to go back to Presque Isle Bay and work a different section. Our wind is a little bit different, a little bit less than what it was yesterday. Yesterday, we kind of only had one shoreline that we could get, and that was kind of confirmed by a couple of the boaters we talked to. They're like, this is it. This is the only protected water there is. And, you know, Mike and I covered quite a bit of it and caught, I don't know what, four or five apiece. Tough day. I think the concentrations may be coming in closer to the mouth of the bay, whereas we were at the far end of it, where maybe they hadn't reached it yet, or as many of them hadn't reached. So I'm going to try, I think it's called Misery Bay. We'll start there, and then there's like some lagoons and some other sort of back bay areas. But being closer to the mouth of it, I'm hoping we get into some more fish. But first, gotta go find some breakfast. Alright, so that is where we ended yesterday. Looks like there was a kayak angler and some other boats. And we're gonna go all the way to the other end. Look at these guys in a state park clearly not being messed with. So the wind forecast isn't as bad. It's nice right now. I don't want to say nice. It's not nice. It's 30 some degrees. But the wind is not up. There is a wind. It's just not bad. But it's gonna pick up midday. I really should have been out here right at daybreak, but I don't know. It was actually kind of a late night after taking the pilot truck station shower. Totally worth it. Totally worth $17 to warm up. I'll probably do it again today. But the wind won't be as bad as it was yesterday. So. Step in getting everything ready, and everything is ready, is making sure that my sales samples don't get stolen. So got everything cabled up, bunch of different ways, including cooler and the hitches with the locking hitch pin. You know, it's kind of leaving stuff wide out in the open. And if someone wants it, they'll find a way to get it. But I just would prefer to slow them down. Hasn't happened yet. There's quite a lot of traffic here, so I don't suspect it'll happen here. But cables are just a deterrent. All right, let's get this thing out on the water before the wind gets crazy. It is a gray day. We had considerable sunlight yesterday. I don't know if that changes anything. Usually with the jerkbait bite, I like to go white. And with the overcast day. But I think the perch pattern is what they're looking to eat. Okay. This is different than where I was yesterday. Didn't have all that cabbage in there. I can kind of understand why they want to come in here and spawn. There'll be a lot of food in here for sure. Caught the first something. I don't even, like, someone was using this as a weight with like parachute cord. And it felt weird. Like it didn't just feel like I snagged a cord. I think I'm gonna remove that from the system. Nothing on the swim bait. I'm gonna try a perch colored spy bait. Alright, so I've been doing this slow roll spy bait up shallow, and I mean, yeah, I can see bottom here. I bet you it's 3.5 here, and I can't hit the shore with a cast. I can get close. But I'm casting left, right, as I move forward at like 7 watts going into the wind. So I'm creeping. I'm less than a mile an hour. And just fan casting. Alright, I've worked a deep rocky edge till I really just got into grass. And I know that the cold snap we've had can either drive them deeper or maybe even to the deep edge of the grass. So I'm gonna put the jerkbait away just because it is so snaggy in the grass. And I'm gonna get a chatterbait out, rip it through the grass. So when I'm not catching fish, I start trying weird, wild stuff. And the jackhammer isn't weird, wild stuff, but I got the 3/4. I actually had the 1.25 ounce out, but I only had white. But what I want to do with this, because I just have more faith in deep, is just get out here in the deep and just fan cast and let the wind drift me through the deepest part of this particular bay. I think it's got to be a spawning hub, but it was like 70 some degrees end of last week, and it's Sunday now, and we've had flurries. So I think they're deep. So it's a 3/4 ounce jackhammer that I made with the custom gold skirt there, which I think that speaks to, you know, the whole yellow perch thing. And then I put a diesel minnow on there, which that color is redfish toad, which is kind of green and gold belly and orange flake and red flake, and I don't know. But I'm basically gonna do like what I do for striper, except just a little bit slower on the pull, but let it get to the bottom, rip it up, and expect it on the pendulum swing fall. So it's gonna rip up, and then as it comes down, that's usually when they grab it, right before it gets to the bottom. So we'll see. It's just another way that I can work the deeper water. How deep? No clue. If I'm guessing, I think I'm out like 20. All right, I got one. With that, with the jackhammer out deep, I gotta sort of triangulate. Like, I have no idea where I was. Look at some shoreline points. Alright, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Yes. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so quickly triangulating. I see a point there. And out from it, about this far. I look over, I see a bridge, and wow. All right, hopping and dropping that big 3/4 ounce jackhammer with the diesel minnow and that custom gold skirt. Good for this fish right here. So heck yes. Tried a bunch of things in, you know, shallow, and then ran deep with the jerk bait. You know, I'm just sort of out here in space without electronics, and I caught this. Man, I got so much going on here. Adult. Yeah. You swing to 19? Not quite. Just shy of 19, so 18 3/4 incher, and it's a start. It's a good start. It's feels good to catch a fish. I mean, this one came sooner than how long I had to wait yesterday, but man, on my tank, look, I got. This is what happens. You get like, I gotta let you breathe, buddy. You get so much trial and error, and I got bags of plastics and all sorts of other things going on. All right, let's get you back in here. 4 pounds 6 ounce, and almost 19. Let's let her in. Yes, that was cool. So the wind is blowing me this way. Let's say towards shallower water. Won't make it get shallow until I get right up on top of it, but casting it upwind and letting it get to the bottom and just ripping it up, and then I can usually feel it go ka-dunk on the bottom. Rip. And it's really the descent that you want to focus on. Man, the wind just is blowing me too fast to really. It's just faster than I wanted to be pushed. But it's all about maintaining a taut line so you can feel that bite. You never want to drop the rod tip so fast that that they're slacking it, because they can jam it as it's dropping down and you have no clue. There also is something to having a cadence of ripping, of bringing it back up. I feel like even if you aren't good at this, you start ripping it, and eventually you're going to get one, just out of the virtue of ripping it up is a hook set, or at least the beginning of one, and it might be enough to to make it work for you. So the wind is blowing me this way. Let's say towards shallower water. Won't make it get shallow until I get right up on top of it, but casting it upwind and letting it get to the bottom and just ripping it up, and then I can usually feel it go ka-dunk on the bottom, rip, and it's really the descent that you want to focus on. Man, the wind just is blowing me too fast to really, it's just faster than I want it to be pushed. But it's all about maintaining a taut line so you can feel that bite. You never want to drop the rod tip so fast that that they're slacking it, because they can jam it as it's dropping down and you have no clue. There also is something to having a cadence of ripping, of bringing it back up. I feel like even if you aren't good at this, you start ripping it, and eventually you're going to get one, just out of the virtue of ripping it up is a hook set, or at least the beginning of one, and it might be enough to to make it work for you. Okay, little break from the Presque Isle adventure to do some Sharpie stuff. It's time to do an illustration, something that is what I just did to catch that fish, which is the same thing I did, I don't know, coming up on a month ago on the Chesapeake Bay to catch these guys, which is using the wind to drift you through an area while you cast upwind or just down, and you have something hitting the bottom, and you have to control and make sure that you feel the bite, but you stay in the right level of water column. Let's do an illustration to show you whether it's targeting striper on the bay or smallmouth, or any black bass, and you're using the wind to keep your line taut so you can feel what's going on. All right, so wind is blowing me left to right. Fish are here at the bottom in 20 some feet of water, and this concept of setting up your presentation to keep a taut line with the wind pushing you works for striper or smallmouth or even spotted bass, or all sorts of different species. But generally the fish are going to be along the bottom, right? If you have a fishery that has lots of bait fish in the middle of the water column, yeah, it can work to target fish that come up off the bottom or feeding here, or even if they're feeding the surface, is usually birds. So, but here I am in my kayak, and as it's pushing me in this direction, if I've cast upwind and I'm here in, I've moved into this position here, right? If I'm being pushed too fast, what happens is you've had a series of, up and down movements, but if you're moving too fast, the line is somewhere in this middle of the water column, right? So you can either slow your drift, or I don't know, you can use heavier weight. Heavier weight will help you feel the bottom when it smashes into it. That's why I was using that 3/4 ounce. But if you can slow yourself down, people use the drift socks or throw a bucket over it with the bigger boats, or whatever they can do to slow their drift, allows it to basically, as you're moving in this direction, you make sure that you feel it hitting the bottom, and you feel this, this thud, and then you rip it up off the bottom, and then it pendulum swings down, and you rip, and it pendulum swings down, and that's usually where one of them jams it, right? But if you can't feel that thud of the line totally straight from your rod tip down to the lure, you don't know whether you're here on the bottom where it's going to get jammed by that big smallmouth, or whether it's somewhere here in the middle of the water column where it's just going to be ignored. So controlling your rate of drift is pretty critical. If it's too windy, you want to use a motor. You want to use, people use drift socks. I've mentioned other things. I'm not messing with a drift sock in a kayak. I will use the motor to point my bow into the wind and just let it backslide a little bit. Didn't have to in this situation on Misery Bay, but I absolutely had to jump up to heavier weight, heavier jig, and the lighter line helps because the diameter of the line allows it to slice down through this. Whereas if there's a lot of resistance on the line, say if I had 20-pound monofilament or fluoro the whole way up, it's going to be up in that middle of the water column scenario, instead of the letting it bump bottom, rip it, and drop it back down. So lighter line, heavier jig, slowing your drift with the motor, all of this is going to help you to feel the bite and to stay in that sweet spot of, and sometimes what works is actually just dragging it along the bottom. That's a very common tactic for the smallmouth. You do it with tubes, because those gobies don't want to be up in this region here. They pretty much stay on the bottom. So letting the wind drift you, and I didn't do any of this. I was saying, all right, this is a bait fish profile. This is a yellow perch jumping up in it because it's scared. That's what worked for that fish. So yeah, using the wind to fish this deeper water, keep your line taut. That's it. Let's get back to the adventure. So the truly maddening thing about this is, I found one active fish, but I bet you there was others with it, and I have no way of dropping a waypoint. I mean, I guess I could have pulled my phone out. I might do that next time if I find them and just drop a pin on Google Maps. But without electronics, without a chart, I mean, triangulated, I'm somewhere in the vicinity of the fish based on that bridge, that point. I don't know, there's so much water out there. It's not really triangulation. It's just a rough estimation of it. I'm a little bit upwind, so I'm probably drifting into the right spot. But it's so much nicer, and it's just my habit of, you catch one deep, you drop a waypoint where you caught him, you go right back to it, and you pound that spot. I don't know, I could be off 20 feet, 100 feet, 100 yards. No, I don't think I'm off 100 yards. And just totally miss that pot of fish. All right, based on my triangulation, I've drifted downwind of where I caught that fish. So let's turn around, charge back up into the wind, set up another drift. Not that far off, but like I said, could have missed whatever they're holding on. Maybe there's a rock pile out here, 19 feet of water, and I caught one of a bunch of them on it. If I miss that rock pile by 20 feet, do they charge out to eat the jackhammer? I don't know. I mean, they can certainly hear it from a long distance off. Are they motivated enough to move that far? Alright, of course this is my only one like that, and I have it snagged up, so let's see if the plug knocker can get things done. The gold nugget. Oh, this would be easier without the wind. Flip it on, send it down. We're going to try to sit on top of it. tip. Of course you did. Head dropped down in something. I don't think I'm getting this back. I can feel it coming up against something springy. Bummer. Yeah, I think it's. I got someone's old anchor line. I got it busted off, unfortunately. Time to break it off. Just wrap it. Yep, there it goes. Oh, I hate that moment. I hate that moment. Alright. Just feel it pop, gone. You knew it had to happen. But it just feels awful. Alright. Found another 3/4. Just green pumpkin. And I got the palmetto bugs on there. That was pretty much an immediate snag. I guess it is rocky out here. Okay, down. There you are. Down. You kidding? Am I gonna lose another one of these? Yep. Oh, I can't believe it. I didn't get 2 casts out of it. Okay, that's up. The wind is picking up. Oh, got it. Yes. This area for hours after, probably 2 hours after catching that one, really picking it apart with the 3/4 ounce jackhammer. Lost one, tied another one on, and modified it to have the diesel minnow on there that I think is just the right color. All right, I have rounded the corner and I'm in this channel that goes out, kind of going with the wind, and it's quite a bit of it. Should probably, troll right along that wall. So there's this whole other bay near where this opens up, and I'm kind of thinking that this is probably one of the most wind protected bays, just with the weather or the wind we've had the last couple days. It's really come out of that direction, that westerly direction. And this opens up kind of to the east. So, I don't know, maybe that works in my favor. A lot of boats out here. I did see one boat catch a fish, which is actually the first, besides fishing with Mike, it's the first other boat that I've seen catching a fish this week. I'm back. I just let the wind blow me back into one of these. I don't even know what this is. Just a shallow area off of this bay that I'm in, but there's some pits in it. There's some deep holes. I don't want to say deep holes. Right there is a foot deep. Somewhere out in front of me, it's probably 4 or 5. I've drifted over them and spooked smallmouth out of them. So it's probably some of the warmest water I've come across, and there's a lot of bait fish scooting through. I would imagine this is warmer water temp. I'm gonna try the underspin, right? underneath it. Overall kind of gold color to it, and I'm taking the 4-inch shiner color, and I'm cutting the head off because there's already a head on the bait, and I just want it, I don't want it to look like a baitfish body on top of a baitfish head. I want it to all kind of line up the way, well, you'll see. If I can get this to run straight, I'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, does that not look right? Guess I'm gonna let these fish tell me if it looks right. What we got here? Up in one of these little, man, look at all that. Look at all that wood. Up in one of these little back bay type spots. That's a largemouth eating the underspin. I'll take it. It's action. Thank you, Largie. What did I get? Oh. Yep, you're a little pike. Little baby northern pike. That's what that is, right? I think so. Yeah, I got a gar. And, no idea. Gar. Oh, I don't want to mess with the gar. Get away from my boat with those teeth. What do I do with this? Get off. I think I can pop it off. You let me pop this off for you? Okay. You gonna be cool? Cool. Ooh, you were cool. Yeah. Largie. I had another one, another real nice one. I mean, probably, I don't know, I'm gonna tell you it was a 19-inch Largie. Came up, chased it, and I grabbed the scented jerk shad on the finesse rigging bullets, just because I figured it's nice to have a follow-up bait. You know, when you get one that chases it. There was something right back down in there, but it seems like some of the feeding activity, and I snagged a carp scale. I ran the underspin into a carp. It's where the wind is slamming into a shore, and there's still a little bit of deep water, but it's just chaotic. Like, it's totally chaotic. Dealing with. GoPro, start recording. GoPro, start recording. Just dealing with the wind, and I don't know, maybe the wind is my friend here and has got these greenies all fired up. But yeah, the underspin is called a gar. Largies, northern pike. Getting some action. What we got here? That same point. Size fish, whatever it is. I think it's another largie. much around here that misses a meal. Alright, so there's the underspin. That is what they've been chasing, but a lot of times they're chasing it and not fully committing to the eat. And I got a pile of them right here, and there's deep water that kind of comes up just off this point. I'm gonna go ahead and give them the follow-up bait. It's the same, if I can get it to come around to you, it's the same soft plastic, right? It's that shiner colored 4-inch scented jerk shad, but it's just on that little finesse rigging bullets. Same thing I dead stick smallmouth on the rivers. Yeah, I went back to the underspin. That's what they want to eat. One that I can boat flip on 10-pound line, no problem. Yeah, that's the best one I've seen. Oh, of course, he's off. That was an 18-inch largie. Gone. So this school of largies is fun. I just can't help but wonder, will the smallmouth that come in from the lake be in mixed company with these largemouth? I'm probably not this size. Like, they're not that big. They're, you know, maybe 2.5. The last one probably had one chase it that was probably 3 1/4. But, you know, do these big smallmouth, are they going to be in the same places that these largemouth are feeding on the windblown, upturns from deep to shallow? Or should I just keep moving? Because what I want to catch are the smallmouth. But I think it's just largies here. Maybe not. GoPro, start recording. Largemouth. One that I can boat flip on 10-pound line, no problem. So, I mean, they're fun. They're fun, especially when I haven't caught much until right now. How long do I stick with them? Because I feel like the smallmouth will eat that underspin too. They should. Do I need to move? Do I leave these fish to find the brown fish? So I got another sort of consideration to make. It's getting later in the day. It was really rough coming through that channel. I don't know if it still is, but do I want to backtrack? I mean, I have an option. There's a path right there, and I could cart this thing out. But I feel like it's laid down some. Like, it's in and out of being rough. Like, it'll gust and then it'll say, no, I'm gonna be nice. Just get this feeling that it won't be nice once I get into that channel and around that corner.
I'm far from done. I gotta find connected water and put in. Ooh, definitely moving weight to the back. All right, let's see. I did that. Should be, if I go about 6 times that distance down the road, I get to Horseshoe Pond, where all those houseboats were. All right, it's gonna take a minute. Let me balance some weight. You got on. Felt like a largie. Alright, I gotta get out of here. Running out of daylight. And I am not out of the woods yet. I still gotta cross Misery Bay. Hopefully it's not, you know. I did look at it when I came through. There were for sure white caps and breaking waves on that first point. So if I can swing out and then cut up through the middle of Misery Bay, I think that monument point might give me a little bit of protection. It probably won't. It's probably too far back. So I got this houseboat that became structure. Come on. Gotta be a big old bass hanging off that front porch. Made it. All right, that was a sort of brutal 2 days. I'm happy I got at least one good smallmouth each day. That's what you come up here for in the spring. I feel like I hit it a little too early. I know the locals are catching them, and if this is your fishery, you know how to do it. As soon as they're here, you know how to do it. I don't, especially without
electronics. That was frustrating, but I think in a way it forced me into learning some other things, doing some approaches that were my next best option other than looking at electronics, marking fish, and putting a jig on them. I did very little pinpoint jigging, and I think that's the main thing here. People throwing Kitex and Ned rigs and tubes and things that you put on the bottom and, you know, wait for that whack. I could do that, but it's sort of like playing Battleship. BE8, no, there's nothing there, except, you know, in fishing, there could be a whole lot of something there, but you just don't know until, you know, you either catch it or see it on electronics. So I will be back, probably not this year because I got so much travel ahead of me. I know I'm going down to the Flint River, Ocmulgee, I don't know. It's Shoalipalooza, Thomaston, Georgia, and it's the first Kayak Adventure Series event, and gonna help Drew with some videography for that, and you know, show off the boondock stuff for sure. And when I get back from that, I think I'm going to California, which is gonna be, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe a month of just not fishing, just buckling down and getting things done for boondocks out west. So maybe I'll fish. I don't know. I'm still undecided whether I'm driving or flying. I know the Brandons will take care of me if I need a break to fish, but anyhow, that's my next month plus, and I'm glad I got to, you know, I've been wanting to fish Presque Isle Bay, Erie smallmouth for a long time. I've caught them before with Chuck, and I've been here with Ben Hines in the summer, and Ben was kind enough to tell me of a few areas where he knows locals have been catching them, and it helped me a little bit. It helped me get in the right region, but again, tough 2 days, and I still enjoyed the process. Hope you enjoyed watching it. See ya.